On today's video, we wrap up Lost Kingdom 76 as red and green are taking out that top zone. Blue and purple can't do anything to stop them. The bottom zone 6 is about to go down, and now the right side zone 6 is secured. Left side is being taken out, and this KVK is all but done for the one coalition, which also had a little bit of a scuffage in it. We'll talk about all that as well as show you the end kind of all the action that I got to witness. So sit back, drop a like on the video. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. As last time we left off the Lost Kingdom 76 coverage, we were watching green and blue duking it out, and boy oh boy, it was getting really bad for the folks of 602. Before we start, I'm a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdoms. If you enjoy the content, consider dropping a like on it and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. You know what to do. Here's the deal. We gotta talk about a few things that led up to this moment, and also about some of the comments that we've gotten, as well as some feedback from a lot of folks in this Lost Kingdom. All of a sudden, after video 2, everybody came out of the woodworks, right? It's not like I made a first video where I said, listen, all I know is 602. If anyone from this other kingdoms wants to chime in, please contact me. Nobody did. Nobody did. And then the second video came out and everybody's like, oh, well, I have tons of information. You're completely wrong. Where were you? Where were you? All of a sudden, everybody has a story. Everybody has a different opinion. Everybody has their own part they want to share after the fact, which is hilarious. Here is a couple of things that came out of those comments. First and foremost, indeed, all I know is 602. And indeed, 602 mainly shared reports of them winning. I told them that I think that this is a bad idea, because it'll come out as if you guys are only sharing reports of you winning, and honestly, it'll make you look worse than you think. It's not a good look to only send reports where you won the fight. That's what they shared. That's what we showed. Take that in a grain of salt, because that's important too. And you all fairly noticed it very quickly. It was a couple comments on the previous video where like, you're only showing them winning, and you're completely right. That's all I got. And it's a problem. It is a problem indeed. I do agree with y'all that it definitely doesn't look good, but it doesn't look good because that's how they wanted it to look. And so that's the one thing. Now I'm going to get an insane amount of comments out of 602 that I'm a hater, but it's okay, whatever. The second thing that was hilarious is the whole situation with 621. And honestly, it's something that as a content creator I face a lot. And that is, a lot of people think that Rise of Kingdoms has one truth. There is the truth. There is what happened, right? There's only one truth in the world, right? Capital T. Well, let me tell you this. Two R4s from two different kingdoms hit me up about a story that happened. Two other R4s from a different kingdom in this Lost Kingdom hit me up as well. This is 4 R4s of all these out of all these 8 kingdoms. Every single one of them had a different story as to why this happened. And that's only 4 out of many more. I bet you that if we ask every single kingdom and every single leader what happened, we're going to get at least 10 different stories. And so the bottom line is the fact, there is no facts. All of you thinking there's misinformation and all that, there is no misinformation. There is only the sides of the stories that were told to me. And if only 602 took the effort to actually talk to me, then what do you want? How much they paid you? How much they donated to you? How much they donated? Probably one donation saying, come check out Lost Kingdom 76. And I was like, I'll go take a look. And that was that. Any Lost Kingdom that I cover tends to be someone going, hey, there's a cool action going on my KVK. Do you want to come and check it out? I take a look. If it looks cool, I'm in. That's pretty much how it works. I've told you guys this a bajillion times. Every single time there's a nice KVK going on and someone hits me up about it and takes the effort to make a group chat with the leaders, with the rally leaders, to get me the information, to show me the reports and all that. I tend to cover that KVK. It's not that difficult. This KVK was a huge mess up by the coalition of blue, purple, pink, and baby blue. Because what ended up happening here is that there's the bottom side fighting and the top side fighting. Now the top side seemed to have been in a very good shape. The bottom side had a huge problem because yellow and green were very, very, very strong. And even though 595 and pink, who I said last video got demolished, and the reason I said they got demolished is that they never really stopped yellow or green from pushing forward, they still had good trades, right? I saw a few reports, screenshots of reports that I'm not going to be able to put in here because I can't look through the report, but there were a lot of screenshots of reports as well as a video from a Twitch streamer of holding passes and things like that, and they were doing a good job in terms of trades. But at the end of that trade, their flag burned while the green and yellow flag did not. And so you can have all the positive trades in the world, but if your flag burns at the end of the day and you're out of that zone and you're getting pushed back, then it doesn't matter how many trades, positive trades you have, you're still going to lose the KVK. And 595, out of all the kingdoms that I got to see, is the one that I feel like has the most potential to be able to do something better in their next KVK, because they got, in my opinion, the shorter end of the stick. They ended up somewhat in a 2v1. Baby Blue was with them of 605, but they also just got pushed back consistently. I did not get to see too much of that bottom side to really know how those two kingdoms worked in their dynamics. All I saw was yellow got to pink flags, green got to baby blue flags, and then they just pushed them out. And that was that. Shout out to the Lohar defending that structure there. I was like, well, I have to show this in a report. For the record, again, all I know was 602. The other issue that came up with the last video is that what happened between 621 and 602. Now, as far as I'm concerned, someone did something there. Whether it was a betrayal that was ahead of time, or it was a betrayal after the fact because there won some rewards, it really doesn't matter. If you are on the losing side and you are the only kingdom in the losing side getting rewards because you made a deal with the other side, as far as I'm concerned, you backstabbed your team. There were situations in KVKs where one side of this whole situation lost, and then the winning side shared some rewards with the losing side. It's much easier to do that in light versus darkness, where you need to destroy each other's buildings, and there is no way for you to destroy your allies' buildings to get ahead in theory. In this KVK mode, taking your allies' Crusader Fort, for example, is a thing because there's no real allies or enemies, and so sharing rewards is a little more difficult. What ended up happening, according to a ton of different people with a ton of different stories, and I'm kind of trying to get that condensed into something that would make a little more sense, is that, as I mentioned in the previous video, caught it up on the top right if you haven't seen that, 621 went through a civil war. They had a fight in Zone 4 a little bit as well. 602 ended up taking the majority of that Zone 4, and with the exception of, I believe, one Huron, the rest went to 602. 621 were not too happy with the fact that they all fought kind of equal. They all fought to an extent equally. I don't know how they fought in their Zone 4, and they ended up getting the shorter end of the stick. Once the results were in, as someone said in a comment, they only then tried to figure out how they can get a little bit of extra rewards. That caused 602 to engage in attacking them. And now the question is, who is to be blamed, right? And I don't really know what to tell you at this stage, who to blame, because quite frankly, the 6 or 7 different people that I got to talk to each had a different reason why they fought. And the king of 602 made a big statement as to why they attacked. I'm not going to go into that because really everybody has their own different opinion. And I believe that at some point the leadership of either side made a vote on whether or not they're going to fight each other for either rewards or for betrayal or whatever it is. And each leader had their own different reasoning why they voted the way they voted, which was hilarious. Now, as you can see, green have pushed up drastically. They got to a point where they are taking out passes. And now red, all of a sudden, is starting to mount the comeback. They started to push blue back to the point where blue had a flag all the way to the red pass. There was the flag all the way down, and red started taking them out. And red really, really started pushing hard. At this point, it was like a switch and bait kind of situation. It started by red really baiting blue all the way in, and then green came in and started fighting them hard. Now, blue realized that they have to fight green more than they have to fight red, as green was the harder opposition, the tougher ones that are really getting the push in. While that happened, red was like, okay, now that blue are not focused on us, let's push back. And it was a really well-coordinated attack between green and red, where they essentially switch and baited consistently. Red baited first while green positioned themselves. Once green managed to position themselves, they started fighting. When that happened, blue shifted their attention towards green. And when that happened, the bait and switch changed again. And now red were fighting. And this caused blue to consistently have to figure out who they're fighting. At this point, as you can see, purple's already out of the fight. And yeah, that's pretty much that. From here on out, it was all downhill. Now, one of the things that people said was like, the fact that this happened was because green and yellow managed to take out the bottom side, and then they could focus on the top. Initially, they were focused at the bottom, while red were just taking their time with blue. And then when they were done with bottom, they went up to the top. The way they did that is by dropping forts all over the place. But as you can see, I don't know if you caught it, pink on the side right there had access to this zone 5, which could then get access to this zone 6. So could baby blue. So to say that, you know, green and yellow took down the bottom and then went up to the top is a little bit ridiculous, because at the same time, pink and baby blue could have come this way too, or they could have, or blue and purple could have gone down below to fight as well. So what looks to be the overall situation here is that the coalition of red, orange, yellow, and green were much more coordinated. They fought this in a much better way. They positioned themselves so that the right armies and troops are in the right places. They realized that green needs to have presence at the top while fighting at the bottom. And then they went to a point where they fought the bottom and went to the top. Blue never had any bottom presence. Pink never had any top presence. And it kind of happened that there's a 2v2 down below, which was a fairly one-sided 2v2, because as you saw, green and yellow just kept pushing back. And up here, it was like a 2v2 with a mix. Technically, it was like a 2v1, because at some point, green was not really fighting. They were just positioning themselves and starting to build their flags just to kind of get ready for when they can focus on this. And this is where really purple seemed to have dropped the ball, because when green were at their weakest point up here, purple just couldn't push them backwards. And that's what led to a lot of the misconceptions of potentially there is being a deal before, there was a deal way from the beginning. There are R4s who think that this happened, that this was planned from zero. There are R4s who said this didn't even happen until the end of this KVK. And so, now what can we do? At this point, pink is here, but that they're here to have access to the pass. They have like 3 flags there. Not a space that's big enough or anywhere near something that they can fight, for that matter. Their fort is dropped by the pass, so they can try to get access to that zone, zone 7. So, yeah, it seems like at this stage, all we can say is congratulations to the folks in red, orange, yellow, and green, because they fought really, really well. They cleaned out blue out of here. They cleaned out purple out of here. Pink are trying at this point to just have some presence here. That's not going to work now that the zone is dominated with yellow in here as well and all that. There's a final zone 6 on the right side, which it does have now pink, blue, baby blue, and all of them, but it also has orange with the pass, who finally came out of their zone 4 and started pushing in. Yellow is coming in as well. Yellow dropped fortresses in the middle of that zone, which nobody could stop. And so before that zone 7 opens up, I believe this zone is going to get cleared out of anything that has to do with baby blue, blue, purple, or pink. Maybe purple will make it in because, again, they ended up making a deal for rewards, which, I don't know. I personally am not a fan of deals of rewards at all. It's happened in a KVK that I was in. I was not happy about it at all. I think that if you do a deal, it's the whole team makes a deal at the end or not at all. I had to go through it last time around. I was not very impressed by it. I really hope that kingdoms that do that at least do it at the end. One of the I'm saying here something that I don't 100% remember, but I'm pretty sure that it happened. I'm fairly confident that 331 and 93 last KVK exchanges rewards, but they exchanged the rewards at the very end when it was like, GG, GG, great fight. We fought each other like crazy. Let's be courteous to each other. We can help each other out with a little bit of rewards here and there. In Light versus Darkness, it's much easier to do this, so let's do this. And that, in my opinion, is great. If you get to a point where your opposition fought very hard and you're being respectable to them and being like, congrats, you guys definitely fought a great KVK. We're gonna do our, here you go, let's share some of these rewards. I think that's fantastic. But I don't know, there's a weird thing in KVKs with rewards. This is the stage where blue and purple were going at it. It's a shame. It's a shame that this happened. Hopefully next KVKs we cover, more kingdoms from the KVK will feel encouraged to reach out and, tell their story. Usually I tend to make these videos in a way that allows for more feedback to come in through comments and for folks to see that I'm covering their KVK, which they weren't aware of before, and then reach out. Please, if you see me covering your KVK and you want to tell your story or you want to set some facts straight, make sure you let me know of things that happen. For now, congrats to the winning team. And yeah, I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Appreciate every single one of you. Dropped a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, commented down below and told me a bunch of things. Some of you were genuinely telling me more information that I needed to know. Others were more salty than anything else. Keep being salty. Keep doing what you do. I don't care. Honestly, I cover KVKs the best way I can. And I will not cover a KVK because a kingdom didn't feel like reaching out until they felt misjustice and then they went crazy in the comments, right? It's never going to work. I always leave some time between the first video and the second and third and so forth and so on. Allow that video to drop for people to reach out and only then continue to tell the story with more information. That's for those of you who will see me in your KVK next. For now, thank you all, and I'll see you sooner rather than later. Take care. Peace.